What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about, can the New Orleans Saints make it to the Super Bowl without home field advantage? So let's see what they have to say about that.
Do the Saints need home field advantage to win the NFC?
I think they do. I do. I think anyone who's played down in New Orleans knows that that's a unique home field advantage for the New Orleans Saints. They are they're a totally different ball club, down there. It's so tough.
It would be nice, but they don't need home field advantage to win.
Playing down there and beating New Orleans Saints in that Superdome, that crowd is just it's fantastic. They draw off the energy of the crowd, particularly the defense. Drew Brees, I believe, really excels playing indoors where the conditions are optimal for him. I think if you look at the New Orleans Saints, if they had to travel, say, to Green Bay at this time of year where the weather conditions, could be really cold, windy, I think it would have an adverse effect on the New Orleans Saints, particularly their offense. Drew Brees doesn't have the strongest of arms. He's very accurate, but he doesn't have the strongest of arms. And that's where things tend to get dicey in the playoffs because you got to deal with the weather conditions. Now, the New Orleans Saints have a really good defense. They got Alvin Kamara, obviously Michael Thomas. But I think the way they play at home, and anyone watching will tell you that they are a totally different ball club down in New Orleans. So I think it would be in their best interest if they had home field advantage.
So that should go without saying that a team plays better at home versus on the road. So the New Orleans Saints have no problem winning on the road. So they're 6-1 on the road. And the only team that they lost to on the road was the Los Angeles Rams. So as far as the teams that they might have to face during the playoffs, would probably be the Seattle, and they were to beat Seattle at Seattle. They might have to face the 49ers, which they lost to the 49ers at home. They might have to face Green Bay at Lambeau. So I don't think they're having a problem winning on the road. Like I said, they're 6-1. And Drew Brees is a well-seasoned Hall of Fame quarterback, so I don't think there's anything out there that he hasn't seen already. So let's continue.
What's your take on that? Do the Saints need home field advantage to take or win the NFC?
Woody, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I don't think that they need home field advantage. Look, they have a veteran quarterback. They have a defense that travels. They can travel well because they have a good front offensive line. They have one of the best in the NFL. So I don't necessarily think, yes, home field advantage helps them with the crowd noise, but championship teams, you have to win football games on the road. So I think this is a motivated group. We all know last year what happened to them at home. And look, everyone's motivated. They have a veteran head coach. They have a veteran quarterback. They have a lot of veteran leadership on that team. So if you want to win a Super Bowl and you want to get to the championship, you have to win on the road. That's just the way it is. So, I think that Saints team and the way that they're built, they can win on the road. They have 2 losses at home this year, 1 on the road. So they've lost more at home this season in the regular season than they have on the road.
Yeah, so again, they have a well-seasoned Hall of Fame quarterback in Drew Brees. I don't think they would have any trouble going on the road and putting in work, especially with the excitement of being in the playoffs again, have a chance to go further than what they did last year, get some redemption. So I don't think they'll have a problem going anywhere and taking care of business. Like I said, they're 6-1. They already beat Seattle at Seattle. I could see Hall of Fame quarterbacks going against each other in Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau. I could see Drew Brees going against Jimmy Garoppolo again, even though the 49ers beat the Saints at home. But I don't really see a problem. I don't think that they need home field advantage to take care of business. So let's continue.
Well, I got to go with you, Woody. I think they do need home field. And the way that they play down in New Orleans, and I have a lot of friends and family down there in New Orleans, and they talk about the atmosphere in that Superdome when the Saints are playing really, really well. And I think having to go to Green Bay is something that they don't want to do. I think Seattle is going to beat San Fran this week, and having to go to Seattle to win a football game to win an NFC, I just don't think those guys being outside is conducive for positivity as far as offense is concerned.
Yeah, listen.
So the Saints already beat Seattle at Seattle. So if the Seahawks beat the 49ers, I don't think there'll be a problem for the New Orleans Saints to go there and take care of business. And that they keep talking about this narrative of playing at home. You know, Drew Brees and company is going to play better at home in their home stadium. Of course, that should go without saying. Most teams generally, they do a pretty good job when they're at home. So don't act like, when they play at home in their stadium, it's just something more special than any other team that plays at home in their stadium. So I don't really see that there's going to be a problem with the Saints going anywhere to take care of business. So I don't know. I think it's just going to go down to who executes the best, because the NFC is wide open between the San Francisco 49ers, the Green Bay Packers, the Seattle Seahawks. Any of those guys can beat each other on any given day, and it really doesn't really matter who's at home, who's not, because they're all high-quality teams that take care of business on the road. So let's continue.
My biggest thing is, and Rob hit on this, the defense is fantastic. Mm-hmm. They do have the offensive line, so they have the components that can travel anywhere to go play. My only concern is Drew Brees and playing outdoors. Mm-hmm. I think that, again, weather conditions, whether you go to, and I just point out Green Bay because I know how it is playing in Green Bay in the postseason. Yeah. It's very tough for a guy like Drew Brees, who's 40 years old, to play in that type of environment, as opposed to down in Superdome where you're indoors. Their offense is about rhythm and timing, mm-hmm. and that's where he's at his best. It's just just throw and catch, primarily with Michael Thomas. You get outside, get outdoors where the wind could be a factor. I think that's where it could, of all the quarterbacks that I see, particularly in the NFC, Drew Brees is the one that I see that could, where the weather could have an effect on him.
Rob,
So I would say that the weather might be a factor for maybe any other quarterback, maybe like Jimmy Garoppolo. But like I said before, Drew Brees is a well-seasoned Hall of Fame quarterback. There is nothing out there that he has not seen. He knows how to step up. He knows how to play in cold weather. Mix that with one of the number one receivers in the league right now, Michael Thomas. I do believe he's leading the league, I think, in yards. I can't remember how much, but like I said, I don't think it'll be a problem for Drew Brees going on the road and taking care of business at Lambeau. Now, if he wasn't an experienced Hall of Fame quarterback, I would say that might be a problem, but there's nothing out there that Drew Brees hasn't seen yet. Now, I think maybe Jimmy Garoppolo might have a problem at Lambeau if there's any quarterback out of the NFC quarterbacks I think could, because he's not a veteran quarterback that's been there. So if anybody would have a problem, it'd be Jimmy Garoppolo. But the 49ers have been taking care of business on the road too. So I don't know, but I don't see a problem with Drew Brees going anywhere and taking care of business, and I don't see the weather bothering him. He's a well-seasoned Hall of Fame quarterback, like I've been saying, and it's just going to go down to who executes the best, no matter where they're at. So let's continue.
You said that the Saints don't need home field advantage to win the NFC. So are you saying that they're the best team in the NFC?
Yeah, I think so. You look back on the regular season, they traveled to Seattle and they beat Seattle. So they're a tough team. And when I think about a quarterback that might need home field advantage, I think of a young quarterback like Jimmy G, who would need to be able to communicate to his offense in an environment where it's not loud to where he can't hear. So when I think about veterans in the NFL, I think about Drew Brees. He can control the offense. He knows how to do things in a loud environment. And the 49ers, they're a young football team. They're tested. They're not tested in the playoffs. They've been tested at the end of the season here, and I feel like they've slipped up a little bit. But heading into the playoffs, I think the 49ers are going to be the team that definitely need that home field advantage so they can function and work like they need to down the stretch.
So I agree. I definitely agree with that. So I think the NFC is wide open. There are just too many headhunters in the NFC at this point. There's nobody that's above and beyond the pack. Like I said, New Orleans Saints can take care of business. The San Francisco 49ers can take care of business. The Green Bay Packers can take care of business. The Seattle Seahawks can take care of business. There's not one team I see that has a higher advantage over anybody else. Everybody has their pluses and minuses, but there's nobody rising above the pack that I can see on any given Sunday can take care of business. All those guys can beat the crap out of each other on any given Sunday. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if they're home or away. It's whoever executes the best game plan for whoever they play. It doesn't matter whether they're home or away. And if there was a quarterback that I would be worried about going away and trying to win on the road, even though their team hasn't had a problem losing on the road or winning on the road, would be Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's only because he doesn't have the experience. Look at all the other quarterbacks in the NFC that are heavy hitters. Like I said, you have Aaron Rodgers, world-seasoned Hall of Fame quarterback, Drew Brees, world-seasoned Hall of Fame quarterback. Then you have Russell Wilson. He's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he's well-seasoned. The only one that's not well-seasoned is Jimmy Garoppolo. And his defense can pick up the slack for his experience and whatever thing he might be lacking. So, I don't know. Let's continue.
49ers they're the same club that went down to New Orleans and won.
Yeah.
You know, so listen, if I think the 49ers, they're confident either way. Because, you know, kind of like the Saints, they're constructed the right way. They had one of the best rushing attacks in the National Football League. Defense, one of the best, particularly their pass defense. And Jimmy G has already proven that he can go toe-to-toe with Drew Brees, go toe-to-toe with Drew Brees down in the Superdome and come out and win a football game. So, I just feel that Drew Brees, in weather conditions, that's not the best condition for him in order to win a football game.
Yeah, I'm saying, they went down to Seattle and won, but was Seattle going to be the Seattle that it's going to be in December and January? And also Green Bay, frozen tundra. Listen, I watched the games from home, and looking at that field, man, it would be no way possible I would go out there to do anything. Play football, watch football, or do anything.
Yeah, I know, but you're not going to show Drew Brees he hasn't seen already. So there's going to be no surprise there. He's a well-seasoned Hall of Fame quarterback that I would definitely go to war with. Like I said, there's a lot of quarterbacks in NFC right now that are top dogs that I would go to war with. And Drew Brees is definitely one of them. And have him go to Lambeau, it's going to be a shootout between him and Aaron Rodgers if it comes down to it. So let's continue.
Anything out there looks